Welcome to Arkansas. Arkansas was once called the Bear State. Forests and hills were alive with these massive creatures, making it a true wilderness like nowhere else. Back then, black bears dominated the land, leaving their mark on every corner of the state, until their numbers sharply declined over time. Today, the state is called the natural state, but the echoes of the Bear State still linger in its rivers, mountains, and forests. Arkansas, a place of breathtaking landscapes, rolling hills, and a history that feels alive in every shadow of the woods. So, how did this land of bears transform into the serene state we know today? Stay tuned as we explore the wild beauty, fascinating stories, and hidden gems of Arkansas you've probably never heard about. Beneath the clear waters of Lake Fort Smith lies the site of the original park, now completely submerged. When a new, larger dam was built to meet the water needs of a growing region, the old park was closed and moved uphill. The project created a single reservoir with 1,390 acres of surface water, providing drinking water for thousands of residents. On May the 21st, 2008, the new Lake Fort Smith State Park opened with all new facilities. It features 30 campsites, 10 rental cabins, and a lodge that can house up to 32 guests. The 8,000-square-foot visitor center was designed to echo the WPA stonework of the 1930s park. Families can picnic under a large lakeside pavilion or swim in a modern pool overlooking the mountains. The marina rents boats for visitors eager to explore the wide, calm waters of the lake. Playgrounds, nature exhibits, and meeting spaces make the park a popular spot for both recreation and education. Lake Fort Smith State Park is a rare example of a park completely rebuilt for the future while honoring its past. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. How many states border Arkansas? Comment your guess. Lake Sequoyah is a spring-fed reservoir located in the foothills of the Ozarks in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The lake covers about 76 acres and is surrounded by a wooded park with trails and picnic areas. The lake provides access for boating, kayaking, and canoeing, with ramps available for small watercraft. Fishing is popular here, with the lake stocked with catfish, largemouth bass, and crappie. Hiking trails follow the shoreline, offering views of the water and the surrounding wooded hills. The lake sits just 140 miles from Branson, Missouri, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee, making it an accessible getaway. Lake Sequoyah is one of 7 lakes in the Cherokee Village community, originally developed in the 1950s as a planned vacation and retirement area. It connects to Lake Thunderbird through a navigable channel, allowing extended boating trips across the lakes. All boating and fishing activities are regulated, requiring permits and following speed limits to protect the lake's ecosystem. The lake's shoreline stretches about 2 miles, providing ample space for outdoor recreation without crowding. Throughout the year, visitors enjoy seasonal changes, from spring wildflowers to colorful fall leaves along the water's edge. Spring-fed waters keep the lake clear and support healthy fish populations for anglers of all skill levels. With its mix of water activities, hiking, and scenic views, Lake Sequoyah offers a complete outdoor experience in the Fayetteville area. Deep in northwest Arkansas, Lee Creek winds for over 64 miles through forests and limestone valleys. The creek begins near West Fork in Washington County and eventually joins the Arkansas River near Van Buren and Fort Smith. Its waters flow through a landscape full of small lakes, exposed rock formations, and cliffs that reveal fossil layers. Along the creek, visitors can find seams of coal and other unique geological features in the limestone terrain. The surrounding forests are home to deer, wild turkeys, and many smaller birds and mammals. Lee Creek is recognized as an extraordinary resource waterway in Arkansas and as a state scenic river in Oklahoma. Wildlife management areas along the creek allow regulated hunting and camping while protecting natural habitats. Walking along Lee Creek Trail, travelers can discover fossils embedded in the rocks, a glimpse into ancient life. The forested valleys and winding water create peaceful scenery that invites hikers and nature lovers to linger. During rainy seasons, the creek swells, and visitors are advised to avoid the low-lying areas for safety. Its mix of rugged geology, wildlife, and clear flowing water makes Lee Creek a hidden natural treasure in the Ozarks. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. Beaver Lake is the sparkling blue heart of northwest Arkansas. Created in 1966 by Beaver Dam on the White River, this man-made lake stretches 73 miles and has nearly 500 miles of shoreline. Its clear waters are surrounded by limestone bluffs, thick forests, and hidden caves, making it a true Ozark treasure. Beaver Lake is more than just beautiful. It provides drinking water for 1 in 7 Arkansans. The lake was designed for flood control, power generation, and recreation, and today it is a favorite getaway for boating, swimming, and camping. Beaver Lake has even been called the Queen of the White River Lakes, thanks to its popularity with anglers and outdoor lovers. In 1967, it hosted the very first modern bass tournament, helping launch the sport of competitive bass fishing. Today, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers manages 12 parks around Beaver Lake, where visitors can fish, hike, or just relax by the water. Beaver Lake is one of the most scenic destinations in Arkansas. In the heart of the Arkansas River Valley, the Ed Gordon Point Remove Wildlife Management Area is becoming a wetland paradise. A massive restoration project recently added over 1,000 acres of new wetlands to the area. More than 14 miles of levees and 45 water control structures were built to create 15 separate wetland impoundments, including Remmel Marsh. These water controls allow managers to flood and drain each wetland at just the right time. Flooding is timed with the fall migration, creating food-rich habitat for ducks and geese. Drawdowns in spring and summer encourage plants that feed and shelter shorebirds and wading birds. This buttonbush habitat is especially important for wood ducks and hooded mergansers raising broods in summer. Over 1,500 acres of land were planted with bottomland hardwood trees like oaks, ash, and sweet gum. These trees were placed on natural soil gradients to match how they historically grew in the valley. As the trees mature, they will form a mix of forest, shrub swamp, and open wetland that supports hundreds of bird species. For birdwatchers and outdoor lovers, this restored wetland is now one of the best places in Arkansas to experience wildlife up close. Is this spot on your travel list? Drop a 1 if you visited, or a 2 if it's now a must-see. Logging companies once planned to harvest these woods, but the steep terrain saved much of Cedar Flats from being cut in the early 1900s. Cedar Flats lies on a mountain slope covered with oak, hickory, and cedar that have grown for decades, some trees over a century old. Settlers first cleared land nearby in the 1840s and 1850s, leaving wagon trails that can still be traced in parts of the forest. The soil here is made of weathered sandstone and limestone, which supports a mix of wildflowers like trillium, bloodroot, and spring beauty each spring. Songbirds such as warblers and vireos nest in the canopy, and deer often graze in small openings formed after storms. After rains, water runs over flat rocks and forms small seasonal pools that attract frogs and salamanders. Cliffs above the flats give views of surrounding ridges, especially striking at sunrise when mist settles in the valley. Because of its location, Cedar Flats is cooler than nearby lowlands, creating a microclimate where certain mosses and ferns thrive. Hidden in the Boston Mountains is a valley once feared and respected for its rugged landscape. Devil's Den State Park was the perfect hideout for outlaws along the Butterfield stage line in the years before the Civil War. When the war began, Confederate guerrillas used these caves and crevices to launch raids on Union supply lines. The roads running through the valley carried both Confederate and Union troops during key campaigns. Even the town of Anna, once standing here, was washed away by a flood in 1893. In 1933, the Civilian Conservation Corps moved in and began transforming this wild place into a park. Young men built stone pavilions, carved trails through the mountains, and dammed Lee Creek to create a small lake. Their craftsmanship was so sturdy that many of their structures still stand nearly a century later. The park's rustic architecture is now listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Visitors can still follow the hiking trail and pass through the same hills that once sheltered guerrilla fighters. This park is both a retreat into nature and a reminder of the turbulent history that once echoed through its valleys. More than a century ago, President Theodore Roosevelt made a bold decision that would change Arkansas forever. He set aside over 1 million acres of rugged mountain land to be protected for generations. That land became what we now call the Ozark National Forest. Here, oak and hickory trees dominate the ridges, creating a canopy that changes with every season. Five federally designated wilderness areas keep much of the forest exactly as it was when Roosevelt signed the proclamation in 1908. The Civilian Conservation Corps and Works Progress Administration built trails, roads, and campgrounds during the 1930s, leaving behind stonework that still stands today. The forest holds 11,000 acres of old-growth woodland, where shortleaf pine and post oak have been growing undisturbed for centuries. Visitors come to ride horseback through rocky bluffs, canoe mountain streams, and climb to the state's highest point. Scenic byways cut across the forest, giving travelers sweeping views of the Arkansas River Valley. We gather info from many places. If you see something wrong or have more to share, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Imagine standing still and hearing the calls of more than a dozen bird species at once. That's the kind of chorus that greets visitors to Slough Wildlife Management Area. This 2,040-acre site is a haven for migrating ducks, wading birds, and countless woodland creatures. The area blends wetlands, prairies, and bottomland hardwood forest, creating rich habitat for wildlife. Seasonal flooding from nearby Lake Conway draws flocks of waterfowl each winter, turning the wetlands into a resting ground. Beavers, muskrats, and swamp rabbits share the area with turtles, snakes, and deer. From February to November, wildflowers bloom in waves, painting the landscape in color. Birdwatchers walk the Kenny Vernon Nature Trail, which loops through the heart of the habitat. Observation blinds and lookout points give visitors a chance to spot prothonotary warblers, barred owls, and even the pileated woodpecker. The trail is part of Arkansas's Watchable Wildlife Program, making it one of the best places to see nature up close. The wetlands are carefully managed with water control structures to keep the ecosystem healthy. At the heart of Little Rock rises the Arkansas State Capitol, a shining dome that has witnessed more than a century of history. Construction began in 1899 on the very grounds of the state penitentiary, and prisoners helped build what would become the state's most important building. The project took 16 years, with two architects, George R. Mann and later Cass Gilbert, shaping its final look. Governor George Donegay even realigned the building himself, creating the unique S-curve walkway that still leads visitors to its steps. The Arkansas State Capitol's limestone walls came from Batesville, and its massive bronze entrance doors were crafted by Tiffany & Company in New York. High above, the dome gleams with 24-karat gold leaf, catching the sun over downtown Little Rock. Because of its beauty, the Arkansas State Capitol has been used in films and TV shows, often standing in for the nation's capital. The Illinois River is one of the most peaceful and beautiful waterways in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Stretching 145 miles, the Illinois River is a major tributary of the Arkansas River and winds through forested hills and quiet valleys. Long ago, the Osage Indians called it Medicine Stone River, a name that shows how important this place was to them. Later, a French explorer named it Rivière des Illinois, after the Illinois Indians, though they rarely lived here. In the 1700s, the Illinois River Valley became a hunting ground for the Osage. By 1800, Cherokee families began moving into the area, using the river as a lifeline. In 1828, the U.S. government even designated the Illinois River as a main waterway for the Cherokee Nation. This land also witnessed history during the Civil War, when Confederate and Union forces fought the Battle of Prairie Grove along the Arkansas section of the Illinois River. The river is a favorite spot for float trips, fishing, and quiet reflection. Almost as much water as the Arkansas River. That's how powerful the White River is, even though it's only half as long. Its 722-mile journey begins high in the Boston Mountains, where cold, clear springs gather into a narrow stream. As it cuts through the hills, it carves deep valleys that shelter rich forests and farmland. Its steady current carries more than 20,000 cubic feet of water every second, swelling to 5 times that during floods. Near Batesville, the flow slows, making it navigable for shallow draft boats entering the Mississippi Valley. Anglers from across the country travel here to fish, turning the quiet banks into a gathering place. For locals, the river is more than scenery. It has been a source of food, transport, and livelihood for generations. Its wide bends and misty mornings give it a calm beauty that draws photographers and travelers alike. Few American towns have a history as closely tied to education as Fayetteville. Settlers first gathered here in the 1820s, building a courthouse and post office at Big Spring. By 1836, the town was the county seat, named in honor of Revolutionary War hero General Lafayette. During the Civil War, Fayetteville became a key location, with battles fought on its streets and homes turned into hospitals. One of those houses, later called Headquarters House, still stands as a museum preserving the story of those years. After the war, the town rebuilt quickly, founding Arkansas's first independent school district in 1871. The arrival of the telegraph and the state's first bank turned Fayetteville into a busy regional hub. In 1872, the University of Arkansas was established, bringing students and new energy to the community. When the Supreme Court ordered school integration in 1954, Fayetteville was one of the first Southern cities to comply. Today, the city is known for its lively downtown, thriving arts scene, and the cheers of Razorback fans. Fayetteville blends past and present, offering visitors a place where history and modern life share the same streets. On December 17, 1949, the Memphis-Arkansas Bridge opened, creating a new path for cars to cross the Mississippi River. The bridge connects West Memphis in Arkansas with Memphis, Tennessee, spanning a critical stretch of the river. Its steel cantilever design was chosen after a major fire damaged the wooden Harahan Bridge in 1928, showing the need for a more durable structure. The bridge carries two concrete paved lanes in each direction, allowing much higher traffic capacity than previous crossings. Before its construction, vehicles had to share narrow lanes on older bridges, often causing long delays and dangerous conditions. Edward Hull Crump, a political leader in Memphis, helped secure funding during the Great Depression, ensuring the project moved forward. The location near Iowa Avenue was selected for accessibility, traffic relief, and cost efficiency compared to alternative sites like Mud Island. Its presence helped West Memphis grow into a national trucking hub, reflecting broader population and commerce expansion in both states. The bridge has remained a key connection for more than 70 years, demonstrating the importance of infrastructure and regional growth. The Harahan Bridge, built in 1916, was designed with cantilevered roadways on either side to carry cars, while trains ran in the center. It was named for James Theodore Harahan, the railroad executive who died in a construction accident during its building. Originally, the bridge's vehicular lanes served automobiles from 1917 until the Memphis-Arkansas Bridge opened in 1949. The total length reaches 4,973 feet, with the longest span of 791 feet. Crossing the main channel on the Memphis side. Ownership is shared. Union Pacific Railroad operates the rail lines, while the city of Memphis and Crittenden County manage the former roadway sections. In the 2010s, the old roadways were converted into a pedestrian and bicycle walkway, becoming the second longest in the United States. The bridge's steel truss framework reflects early 20th century engineering innovations in cantilever design. During its early years, the Harahan Bridge played a vital role in facilitating trade, travel, and local development along the river. At sunrise, the farmland around Dardanelle glows gold, with long rows of crops catching the first light of day. From above, the fields create a patchwork of greens, each shade telling the story of the crops that sustain the community. Irrigation systems slowly sweep across the land, watering acres of wheat, corn, and soybeans under the open sky. The Arkansas River nearby provides rich soil, making this valley one of the state's most fertile farming regions. The patterns of the farmland look almost like a living quilt spread out across the earth. Mountains rise in the background, framing the fields and reminding visitors that this is where the river valley meets the Ozarks. Generations of farmers have worked this land since the town was founded, making agriculture a way of life in Dardanelle. Even today, the rhythm of the seasons shapes daily life, from planting to harvest. The peaceful mix of farmland and mountain horizon makes Dardanelle a beautiful and timeless place to sing. Lake Swepco, also called Lake Flint Creek, lies north of Siloam Springs in Benton County. The 500-acre reservoir was created in the late 1970s by damming Little Flint Creek to supply cooling water for a power plant. The water released into the lake is warmer than most Arkansas lakes, creating a unique habitat for fish year-round. Anglers can catch Florida largemouth bass, northern largemouth bass, and other game fish in the warm waters. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission stocks the lake and maintains fish habitats to support recreational fishing. The surrounding land offers public access with a boat ramp, making it a convenient destination for boating and fishing. Thanks to the heated water, fish grow faster than in nearby lakes, making it popular with serious anglers. The lake is part of the region's power generation infrastructure, but it also serves as a quiet retreat for nature lovers. Birds and other wildlife are often seen along the shoreline, adding life to the serene waterscape. Despite its industrial origin, Lake Swepco feels like a peaceful natural spot in the northwest Arkansas hills. Did you know the capital of Arkansas almost had a completely different name? When the capital was being planned in the 1820s, lawmakers debated calling the new city Arkopolis. The name even appeared on some early maps from the U.S. Geological Survey. But the people who lived here and the travelers who passed through were already calling the area Little Rock, after the rocky outcrop on the Arkansas River. The city got its name from a rocky outcrop on the Arkansas River, first noted by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Bernard de la Harpe in 1722. By 1821, lawmakers chose this location as the capital of the Arkansas Territory, moving it from Arkansas Post, which often flooded. As the new capital, Little Rock quickly became the center for trade and government in the region. More than a century later, in 1957, Little Rock again took the national stage. Nine African-American students, known as the Little Rock Nine, tried to enter Central High School as part of desegregation. The governor called in the National Guard to block them, until President Eisenhower sent federal troops to escort the students safely inside. These places tell the story of how this city grew from a river crossing into a key part of American history. More than 180 years ago, this place was called Osage, just a small settlement surrounded by wilderness. Today, it's one of the fastest growing cities in Arkansas and the beating heart of Walmart's empire. Welcome to Bentonville. Long before settlers arrived, the Osage Nation used this land as hunting grounds, staying here for months before returning to Missouri. In 1837, European settlers moved in, built farms, and turned the area into the county seat. In 1950, Sam Walton opened his Walton's 5 and 10 store on the square, which later grew into Walmart, the largest retailer in the world. Crystal Bridge's Museum of American Art began as Alice Walton's vision to bring world-class art to Arkansas. Working with architect Moshe Safdie, she created a museum that flows around 2 spring-fed ponds like a natural retreat. The curving glass pavilions and wooded trails make Crystal Bridges as much a part of the landscape as the art inside. When it opened on November 11, 2011, it became the first major art museum to debut in the U.S. in decades. The museum's collection has grown to over $1.7 billion in assets, ranking among the nation's most significant. Crystal Bridges attracts art lovers from across the world, making Bentonville a global cultural stop. Combs Park is about to become Fayetteville's first true river access park, a place designed for people to connect with the West Fork of the White River. Families will soon come here to picnic, hike, swim, wade, fish, and float on inner tubes. The park is part of a bigger vision, a future river trail along the West Fork, where visitors can explore nature step by step. Thanks to the Watershed Conservation Resource Center, the river is being restored, and even the old pump station dam has been removed to bring back a natural flow. Combs Park will also be easy to reach, less than 4 miles by bike from Fayetteville's historic downtown square. Few places in the Great Smoky Mountains feel as wild and untouched as Mount Sequoyah. Standing 6,003 feet high, Mount Sequoyah is one of the park's most remote summits. You can only reach it by hiking more than 11 miles. Mount Sequoyah has 4 small peaks, and the easternmost is the true summit. From the southern base near Left Fork Creek to the top, Sequoyah rises about 1,500 feet, giving hikers a serious climb. Its northern slopes feed the headwaters of the Little Pigeon River, where crystal water runs down into the valleys. Mount Sequoyah was named after Sequoyah, the Cherokee genius who invented the written Cherokee alphabet. In the 1850s, explorer Arnold Guyot crossed Mount Sequoyah during his survey and called it the Three Brothers. For decades, few people came here until 1935, when the Appalachian Trail was built across its crest. Reaching Mount Sequoyah means passing other legendary peaks like Mount Guyot and Mount Chapman, before finally standing on this quiet summit. Hidden on the shores of Beaver Lake, War Eagle Cavern is the only cavern in Arkansas with a lakeside entrance. You can reach it by car or even dock your boat right outside the cave entrance. Eastern pipistrelles and endangered gray bats live deep inside, using the cavern as a safe home for hibernation and raising their young. Native Americans explored this cave centuries ago, and local legends tell stories of moonshiners and hunters hiding here. Since 1978, the cavern has been a show cave, complete with guided tours, lights, and safe walking paths. The traditional cavern tour takes about an hour and follows wide, level passages suitable for kids and strollers. With its mix of geology, history, wildlife, and family activities, War Eagle Cavern is one of Northwest Arkansas's most unique outdoor destinations. Tucked away along Arkansas Highway 16 lies Durham, a small community with a history as deep as the White River Valley it sits in. In the late 1800s, Durham was home to just about 60 people, but had all the essentials: a sawmill, general stores, a blacksmith, a doctor, and even a small hotel. White oak trees from the surrounding hills were cut into cross ties for railroads, and trains carried both freight and passengers through the valley. Durham Township was created in 1884, and today it covers about 24 square miles of rolling farmland and quiet roads. According to the 2000 census, the township had around 839 residents, still a close-knit rural community. The end of the railroad service in the early 20th century shifted Durham's life toward highway travel, with Arkansas Highway 16 becoming the main link to nearby towns. Durham has a city government of its own and depends on Washington County for administration. It remains a peaceful place where history lingers and the landscape still reflects the rhythm of country life. The Washington County Courthouse in Fayetteville, Arkansas was built in 1905 as the fifth courthouse for the county. It replaced the 1868 courthouse after officials said the old building was unsafe and could not be repaired. The new limestone building was designed by architect Charles L. Thompson and built by George Donegay, who later became governor of Arkansas. More than 2,000 people came to the cornerstone ceremony on October 1st, 1904, where a time capsule with coins, documents, and newspapers was buried. The courthouse quickly became part of the Fayetteville skyline and held its first court session in April 1905. Through the years, it had problems like leaking roofs, rotting floors, and even lost its clock tower in 1965, before getting it back by helicopter in 1974. As Fayetteville grew, the county needed more space and bought a new courthouse building in 1989, moving completely by 1995. Today, the old courthouse holds valuable county records, including some that were hidden in a cave during the Civil War to keep them safe from fire. Siloam Springs is a city where history, nature, and community come together on the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma. Founded in 1882, Siloam Springs became famous for the healing waters of the springs that feed Cedar Creek. Visitors once came from miles around, believing the springs could restore health and energy. The Osage were the first known inhabitants here, and the town's founder, Simon Sager, gave his name to the creek that still runs through downtown. This charming town was even named one of Smithsonian's 20 Best Small Towns in America in 2012. Siloam Springs sits on a plateau where the Ozark Mountains meet the southern plains, giving it a unique mix of landscapes. Its summers are warm and sunny, while winters are cool and mild, perfect for year-round outdoor fun. Siloam Springs is a blend of small-town friendliness and modern creativity. Whether you come for the springs, the parks, or just a stroll downtown, Siloam Springs welcomes you with a mix of history and hospitality. The Buffalo National River is one of the few remaining undammed rivers in the lower 48 states, flowing freely for 135 miles. People have lived along its banks for thousands of years. Archaeologists have traced evidence of campsites as far back as 9,500 BC. The Osage once hunted here before they were forced west in the 1820s, leaving behind tools and hunting sites. Mid-20th century plans to dam the river sparked protests that united locals and conservation groups. In 1972, Congress protected it as the first national river, ensuring its waters would stay wild and free. Today, sheer limestone bluffs tower over the river, some more than 150 feet tall, reflecting gold in the evening light. Wildlife thrives here. Otters play in the water, bald eagles soar overhead, and elk graze nearby meadows. Standing on the banks of the Buffalo, you can feel the deep history that runs through every bend. Sager Creek flows right through Siloam Springs, shaping the town's history and character from its earliest days. Named for Simon Sager, a German immigrant, the creek became the center of life for settlers in the mid-1800s. Sager's cabin once stood near the water before he was killed during the Civil War by pro-Union Cherokee fighters. In the 1880s, residents built stone walls and small dams along the creek to guide its flow through the growing town. Historic floods in 1892 and 1972 damaged bridges and businesses, forcing major repairs and better drainage systems. Modern restoration projects have removed old dams and added natural features to improve the creek's health. Victorian homes and brick storefronts along Cedar Creek give the area a charming turn-of-the-century look. On sunny days, the water reflects these buildings like a moving mirror, adding to its small-town beauty. Fayetteville National Cemetery was created in 1867 to gather the scattered graves of Union soldiers who fell at Prairie Grove and Pea Ridge. Its original design was circular, with a flagpole at the center and rows of white stones radiating outward. Over time, additional land was added to allow more veterans to be buried here, including those from World War II and later conflicts. Over 11,000 service members rest in this place, their headstones forming perfect even lines across green grass. Memorials within the cemetery honor groups like Purple Heart recipients and Revolutionary War soldiers. Some graves belong to unknown soldiers, reminding visitors of the many who gave their lives without recognition. Towering shade trees line the paths, giving the cemetery a calm, almost park-like atmosphere. Every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, ceremonies bring locals here to honor the fallen with flags and flowers. Fayetteville National Cemetery stands as a quiet, dignified reminder of the sacrifices that shaped the nation. The Norfork River, just 5 miles long, is one of the most celebrated trout streams in the country. It flows below Norfork Dam, where waders and boaters gather daily to try their luck on these famous waters. In 1988, the river produced a brown trout that weighed nearly 39 pounds, a world record at the time. Fishing is possible from the bank in designated spots, or by boat along the entire 5-mile stretch. Water levels can rise quickly as the dam releases water for power and flood control, so anglers watch closely for sirens and rising currents. Long before there were roads and lodges, Mount Magazine was a seasonal home for Native American camps. Life on the mountain up was tough, and by the Great Depression, most families had moved away. In 1934, the government stepped in, buying the land to restore the area. In 1998, Arkansas opened its highest point as a state park and welcomed visitors back. The Hernando de Soto Bridge opened in 1973, carrying Interstate 40 across the Mississippi River between Arkansas and Tennessee. Its iconic twin steel arches form a giant M, making it one of the most recognizable river crossings in the country. At nearly 9,500 feet long, it is a major link for travelers and trucks moving goods across the South. Engineers designed the bridge with seismic protection because it stands near the New Madrid seismic zone. When inspectors found a fractured support beam in 2021, the bridge was closed for urgent repairs for over 2 months. Traffic had to reroute miles away, showing how vital this crossing is for both commerce and daily life. After reinforcement and inspection, the bridge reopened safely, with lessons learned about infrastructure safety nationwide. At sunset, the glowing arches in the Mississippi below make the Hernando de Soto Bridge one of the most photogenic spots on the river. It's easy to forget how many stories hide in the hills and rivers of Arkansas. Each bend of a creek, each stone in a cemetery, each bridge and bluff carries the memory of those who came before us. The landscapes here are not just pretty, they are alive with history, shaped by time and by people who love this land. From roaring rivers to whispering springs, every stop has given us a new way to see this state. And just like the river keeps flowing, the journey through Arkansas never really ends. But for now, we'll leave its ridges and valleys behind, carrying a little piece of this place with us until the next adventure.